when you're getting advice, when you're getting feedback, when you're getting the truth from somebody, they might not know where you're actually at. They might not be trying to hurt you with the truth, or they might be trying to give you the right amount, and they don't know where that is.
There's a big difference between I did a poor job that time versus I am not good at this. I'm no good. I'm worthless.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another very special, as always, episode of Next Level University, where we teach you how to level up your life, your love, your health, and your wealth. We hope you enjoyed our latest episode. It was a Q&A. What is your relationship to adversity? That is our new 6th episode a week. We are actually getting ready to go up to 7 shortly, so you'll have NLU in your pocket every day. Today, for episode number 637, how much truth can you handle?
Very excited for this.
Alan and I have had a lot of new realizations in the studio. There's been a lot of deep conversations. That's actually why we're doing a shorter episode today rather than like a 25-minute one, because I have to go and we got lost in flow of conversation. But we were talking about belief, and we were talking about a lot about Stephen Kotler's the Skills Challenge Gap. Is that what it's called?
Skills Challenge Sweet Spot.
About how you should be a certain amount out of your comfort zone.
Yes.
How does your belief affect the amount of truth that you can have?
Yeah.
So Alan and I were on with Dave Meltzer last night on LinkedIn Live, and afterwards Alan's like, that wasn't my best performance. Like, I didn't do a great job. And we were laughing about it, like kind of at Alan's expense a little bit.
Right.
But we were talking in the studio today, like imagine if that was somebody's first opportunity to speak to David Meltzer live on LinkedIn, and they didn't feel like they did a good job, and we told them 100% of the truth. And said, like, yeah, you really sucked. Like, you could have done way better. Honestly, Dave might never have you back again.
That's actually possible.
Genuinely. Versus, hey, like, don't beat yourself up. This is the first time you've ever done this. Like, of course it's not going to go well. You've never done this before. What level of truth can you handle, and how is that associated with your level of self-belief?
This is, the reason I'm so excited about this is because I think this is like a thing. So, you know, Kevin and I have Drive to 5. We have the 5 buckets. Like, I actually think that this is going to end up being a framework. So there's a couple things to understand before we dive in. One is self-belief can be built over time. We all have a certain level of self-belief, 0 to 10. And it's not necessarily conscious, it's subconscious. Okay? And we're talking about belief in yourself. Belief in your own ability to achieve what you want. Belief in your own ability to fail forward. Okay? The second thing, if you have undying self-belief, it's easier to take the truth and use it for the better.
Yeah.
So, because, okay, let's say hypothetically there's 2 people like Kevin mentioned. Let's say both of them are going on David Meltzer's LinkedIn Live, and they're both going to be repurposed as a podcast episode on the Playbook Podcast, which is one of the top business podcasts in the world. Mm-hmm. That's a lot of pressure. I got off it. It was the 22nd time we'd ever been on. And to be completely honest with everyone, just to make sure this is a good example, it was terrible. I did a terrible job. I didn't feel like I was in flow. My questions were brutal. At one point, I literally was like, what are your thoughts on that? It's like he's not here. Like, it's a coaching session. I'm supposed to ask him questions and learn and not just like philosophize all over everybody. So it was terrible, in my opinion. When I beat myself up, it was funny, but also it did hurt. But not in a way that made me feel like a failure. And I think that it's important to understand that me getting quote-unquote beaten up, whether it's by us or me after the rep, it's going to make me better. It motivates me to get better. The next time we go on Dave, which is 2 weeks from now, I will prep better. I will ask more concise questions. I will make sure that I add massive value from extrapolating value from him. I'm going to get so much better, genuinely. But if someone has very low self-belief in their own ability to make those changes, and when I say that sucked, there's a big difference between I did a poor job that time versus I am not good at this. I'm no good. I'm worthless. So it's not tied to my identity. I know that I'm not bad at interviewing people. I know that I did a bad job at interviewing Dave that one time. See, there's a big difference between those two. So if you were early and didn't have high self-belief, and then someone like Kevin were to say, like, that was terrible, you might think you're terrible. You might not believe in your own ability to come back from that. And I think that I had a coach, his name was Alex, long time ago, I grew more in these 3 months than I ever have, probably. Not that I ever have, but I grew a lot in those 3 months because of this coaching. It was one of the most valuable coaches or mentors I've ever had. I'll just say that. He said, Alan, people who succeed at the highest level are the ones who can handle the most truth. Okay. True or false? I did a bad job interviewing Dave yesterday. True or false?
To your standards, true.
Okay. True or false, I can do better next time.
True.
Okay. If someone else did a poor job, would those truths benefit them or not, from your perspective?
I think it depends on how far they are in the journey.
And that's exactly the point. So if you're out there listening, the level of truth that you can give someone has to be predicated on the level they're at.
Yeah.
And I think that's what Kevin and I have been learning between group coaching, podcasting, speaking, the NLU team, just leadership in general. I think that leadership is understanding the level someone is really on, not what they say they are, but what they really are, and then figuring out what the next level is for them, and then giving them the level of truth to get to that next level, not trying to give them all the truth all at once. And I think I've done a poor job of this because I didn't fully understand not only the level people were at, but what level of truth was going to get them to that next level.
And I think you mentioned it. One of the most important parts of this is, do you believe you can change the outcome of something next time? So Alan and I always joke about, like, dude, you're fat. Like, we're just kidding. I don't mean it in any...
Right.
But
I am.
I am too, compared to, but I know what to do. I'm just not doing it. I know exactly how to lose weight. It's my fault that I look the way I do.
And we're not insecure about that.
No, because
right.
I know what I've looked like. I know what's possible. Okay, cool. I know what's possible. I know it's possible for me, and I know it'll be worth it if I do it. Unfortunately, that last one, I don't know if it'll be worth it. That's why I'm not doing it.
That's why you're not doing it.
So it's that thing of, like, somebody else, I've had this a lot. Somebody will say, like, I don't like when you're self-deprecating. Like, you'll say you...
I
it's
know.
like, but I don't actually think I'm self-deprecating. I'm not... It doesn't hurt me when I say that.
Yeah.
Like, I did screw up the speech.
Yeah.
I did bomb it. I didn't do a good job.
Right.
But I know that I can do better next time.
Right.
So, ladies and gentlemen, one of the biggest issues for our listeners that we've seen is not everybody has people in their corner trying to lift them to the next level, and even the people who are trying to help don't always know how.
That's why Kevin and I created Next Level Group Coaching. It's a 3-month program on teams of 10 with all people committed to achieving their goals. Click the link in the show notes for more information.
And we only take 10 people at a time, so make sure you get in quick.
The theme of this, the goal of this, the intention for this episode is 2 things. 1, understand when you're getting advice, when you're getting feedback, when you're getting the truth from somebody, they might not know where you're actually at. They might not be trying to hurt you with the truth, or they might be trying to give you the right amount, and they don't know where that is.
Right.
Point number 1. Point number 2, understand where somebody is. Understand where somebody is before you give them the truth. Our goal is always to be authentically, truthfully ourselves, but you can dress the truth up nicer, right? There's a certain... Alan, I know you had a long day yesterday. I think you could have done better.
Right.
Versus Alan, that was a right piece of shit.
Right.
You know, like that's...
But you're saying
lesson.
the same lesson.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
So
one's dressed up nice.
It's a communication thing. And I think that's the most important thing. Like, we're always trying to level up. So it's life, love, health, wealth. This is about communication, which is all these, really.
So can you give an example where you gave someone too much truth and it ended up being to their detriment?
I think I struggle with giving hard truths. Honestly, that's one of my things.
We've talked about that. I think that's a weakness, but it's also a strength at times,
Sometimes.
depending on the circumstance, right?
Sometimes. Let me think.
I
don't think so. I don't think I've really... If anything, I haven't... It's been the other way. I haven't given enough truth.
Let's do that.
Okay.
Okay, because I think I'm rarely giving the right amount of truth.
I think I am too, but I think it's on the other end. I think you give too much. I don't think I give enough.
But I think sometimes I don't give enough.
Okay.
I think it's either too much or too little. It's very rarely, now that I have this new awareness. So yeah, where's the time where you didn't give enough truth and it ended up hurting someone? Or negative, not hurting them, but like they didn't grow as much as they could or whatever.
All the time. I'm sure all the time. And that's something I've leaned into. I mean, I have a specific somebody reached out. I just want to keep it anonymous. Somebody reached out and they said, hey, I'm thinking of going and doing this thing, and it's going to change a lot in my life. And rather than saying, I honestly don't think that thing is best for you, I think what you're doing is probably the best thing for you, just because you have all these amazing things going on. Instead of running from the amazing things in your life, I think you should lean into them more. Instead of doing that, I just kind of gave him my blessing and said, yeah, I always want you to do what's best for you, but I want to tell you the truth of what I think is too.
Right.
So I think it's a balance.
And that was like another business opportunity or what?
That was an opportunity for this person. It was an opportunity for growth for this person that they kind of missed out on.
And you didn't think that was... I guess, here's the interesting thing.
I don't know that they were ready for my actual truth.
Go deeper.
This person was going through a lot of things in life, and they were looking for certainty. Like, I think they might have actually taken the right choice in retrospect. Because now I have a higher level of awareness of how much truth could they actually handle based on how much pressure they were under, based on what they value, based on their goals and their aspirations. It's like maybe I was actually right in that moment.
Yeah, this is challenging.
It's very challenging.
Leadership and coaching and speaking even, just so everyone's aware, like we're podcasters, we're speakers. We're giving truth all the time. And we're trying to do it at the right level all the time. And if you want to help someone get better, sometimes they need to be challenged. Like, listen, get it together. You know what I mean? Like, you're a mess. Like, get it together. You got this. You can do this. Get your shit together. That's hard truth. Other times, I understand. I totally get it. Like, take a minute. You know what I mean? They're both true. You just got to know. It's almost like the truth is a tool. It's like you have to. What's a good analogy for this? It's a dial. Sometimes you need level 10 hardcore truth, or sometimes you need very soft, empathetic, warm, loving support truth. And it's all true. I've been playing this game, as you know, with my clients. True, false, semi-true. And most of the time, it's semi-true. It's like, oh, semi-true. It's like, okay, how can we make it more true for you? And then okay, love conquers all. True, false, semi-true.
Between false and semi-true. I would say false.
Okay.
Yeah.
What would make it more semi-true?
Love, hard work, communication, and trust conquer more.
Yeah, right. Okay, so that is a perfect example, and that's a great segue in our next episode, because our next episode is going to take these blanket statements that a lot of people say that really aren't fully true.
Now, that is partially, that's semi-true, what Alan just said.
Yeah.
Actually, the next episode you're going to hear is a speech that we gave that's all about how to keep your cup filled.
Yes. And
then you'll hear the 5 common phrases that might be jeffing you.
It's going to be fire.
It's going to be fire. Anything to say before we go?
The wrap up here is this. You're going to, if you're a parent and you're guiding your children, you're a leader to your children. And this is, when I'm a father, I'm going to do this. A 5-year-old is ready for a certain level of understanding and truth, and a 10-year-old is ready for another, and a 15-year-old is ready for another, and it needs to be, guidance needs to be catered. Truth needs to be catered. It needs to be the right amount. Some people do really well with constructive, hardcore feedback. Other people do really well with love and support. And that varies based on their state. If someone, think about it this way, this is the best way to explain it. If I lost a close family member yesterday and I'm in an emotional place, you're not going to say like, yo, why the hell didn't you get up at 4 a.m. like you said you would? That doesn't make any sense. But if I never do what I say I'm going to do and I'm in a decent place and I'm just kind of chilling and you're trying to help me, you got to say like, yo, have you ever considered like maybe your habits aren't very good? Like you should really like go to the gym once in a while. See, it's important. It's important to understand that everybody's doing their best and everybody's communicating their best. But if we want to help the people we love and if we want to help ourselves, we have to be honest. But we have to be honest in an effective, intelligent way. And this is true for me too. If you're out there right now, and this is the last thing I'll say, some people that do well with constructive, direct feedback, I've had clients that tell me, I want the truth and I want you to be as hard on me as you are on yourself. Okay, I'm that way. I'm very, very hard on myself. maybe that's on purpose because it motivates me. Maybe that works for me. Whereas with someone else, if they're super hard on themselves all the time, maybe that's not motivating. Maybe that's demoralizing. You got to understand the level of honesty you should give with yourself, the level of hardcore. It's strength and warmth. On one end, how warm are you with yourself? How empathetic and loving are you with yourself? On the other end, how hardcore and strong are you? Like, yo, get it together. So figure out what your truth dial should be for yourself, but also for others. That's all I have. Again, this is a philosophical episode.
Very philosophical. It went a different way than I expected, but I'm glad we did it.
It's fire.
And I enjoyed it very much. Ladies and gentlemen, I have to go because I have to go home. We both have coaching calls. We appreciate you. We love you. And as always, we do not have fans. We have family. We will talk to you on Sunday.
Talk to you soon.
Bye.